Hey everybody, Brian here from quantlabs.net. Okay, so I've been wanting to show this for a while. Let me just hop into my pie chart. Right here, what you're looking at is a script that I've written that is basically processing average true range volatility measurements over a week, a month, and intraday. And it's a pretty powerful script. So let me just first showcase what we're talking about here. Well, last week or so, I have, if you come into my videos on YouTube, you'll notice I have created a couple of important videos that are connected to this script. This webinar I did last Monday, August 1st, we talked about, with my meetup group, and specifically Shalom, we talked about the various types of volatility that you could use to measure when you're trying to do forex trading among different pairs. So without volatility, you're not going to make money. And one of the agreed upon indicators that was really popular was this average true range. So the script that I've written here is exactly that. It's an average true range script, as I said, that does a measurement in months, weeks, and intraday. So I'm going to show you that. The big takeaway here is a couple things. The first one is IQ feed is a source of data for historical, and it can only run on Windows, natively, that is. So part of the script that I've got will generate basically all these pairs, and this is intraday. Now I've talked about this in this particular video here, Python IQ feed historical download for stock forex on Windows. So these files I'm showing you are running or created on my Windows machine, but when I try to move over the script, this one I've been showing you, it fails when I try to import the the Python docx package on Windows. So it fails there to build it, and I can't import the package. Just another reason why I just dislike Windows so much. So I moved the files over manually over to my Mac, because I know Mac and Linux seems to work no problem. So what happened was we've got over, I think it's 450 files. So the combination pairs that I'm after is what Interactive Brokers supports. So if I go to Interactive Brokers, supporting forex pairs, what will happen is should give you a list. There's about 11 or 12 on there, and let's see if I can find it. Supported currency pairs. I'll just try this one time. Forex product. Maybe it's this one. No, it's gonna be this one. Okay. So here are our supporting pairs right here. So it's about, 20 maybe. So what I did was, in my IP feed, I basically went in and built out a entire way to download all this data. So for instance, we have Australian dollar going up against the Canadian dollar, the Swiss franc, the Czech, I believe, I have no idea, the Denmark kroner, euro, British pound, Hong Kong dollar, so on and so forth. Okay, so moving to the next block, you'll notice I can do the same thing with the Canadian Australia dollar, Canadian Swiss, Canadian Danish as well. So some work, some don't work in terms of what can be downloaded from IQ feed, which is fine. But if it fails, it'll generate this, like only 12K or 12 bytes long. So it's basically just gonna say data error, whatnot. Fine. But let me just show you one that works. Now I've shown this in that video that I just created. Well, I'll let you watch that, but I'm referring to this video here. So these are the files that now work. So if I was to just show you only the files that work and that you can actually download from IQFeed, what you'll notice is it represents about 50 or so combinations out of the 400 plus, okay? So these are different combinations that you can download to get historical data from IQFeed. Now, I have mentioned this in my previous video. When these fail, these combinations, for instance, I believe this is the South African US dollar, I could switch over the data source from IQFeed FXCM and then just get the 10-4 auction from IQFeed. And I'm sure one of those data sources, that's about 40 of them, will eventually have that combination if I really wanted it. But I'm not going to worry about it. I just go with the basic FXCM source. Okay, knowing that, we have this script now running, as you can see, just process the US dollar, Japanese yen, the US dollar, and the Mexican peso, I believe. Okay, so that's the data sources, and what you'll remember if you watch that video is that it's 1 day's worth, for my case here, an entire year's worth of, I think it's 2014. So when you see the data, it's going to be really messed up. And it's 1 day's worth of a trading day of minute data. Okay, so that's important to know. Well, let me just show you just in case. Go this one smaller. Okay, so we're looking at the US dollar, Hong Kong dollar. But you can see it's October 2014. Starts at 9:32, opening trading day, going all the way down to September 30th, 2015, the end of trading day at 16 o'clock. Cool. So that's what that data is. All right. So we know that. So just remember though, in my case, I'm using the market data folder. So just remember that. Okay, so let's take a look at a typical download of this script. So let's say we look at let's say we look at the let's say the Japanese or the US dollar and the Japanese yen. So first it'll generate a distribution. Now I've shown this as well in detail in this video here. Or did I? Let's see. Yes. No. This is the first time I'm showing this to you. Get excited. Okay. So what we've got here in this PNG file that gets generated, do preview. It's a distribution of all those data points. Tries to do a bell curve as well as a high to low and open to open. I've shown that in that video about downloading from IQFeed. And on top of that, just open this one. Now remember, the data is going to be kind of messed up as it is because things still under testing. But I just want to show you what kind of data you can get once it gets corrected. So this would typify US dollar, Japanese yen pair. Now we're looking at that normalized view. I've shown you that you can download the open-to-open descriptive statistics. I'm pretty sure I've got another video of this. Oh, well, yeah, la-di-da. Right here, this video here is basically what I'm showing you.
You need a
Okay.
website. Why not do it?
So basically what you're getting in the open to open is a standard descriptive statistics, mean, median, standard deviation, variance, skewness, minimum, maximum, summary, and count. Then we do the same thing with the high to low for all that data I just showed. And we do some other things like calculate number of positive returns, positive returns percent, negative returns. Just so everybody knows, this is how many data points that we're talking about, 100,069, 697. So it's a big data sample of minute data. So here's our returns overall. When we have returns equaling 0, it's 5% of the time. Again, average number of positive, daily, and negative, average daily, positive, and negative returns. Number of positive returns and percent, negative returns. And again, number of returns in percent. And the average daily positive return and the average daily negative returns. Now, it doesn't stop there. We get an upper percentage of our standard deviation of 1, 2, and 3. And that's the upper bound. We also calculate the lower bound of 1, 2, and 3 for standard deviation. And here are those charts that I showed you. Now, this is where it gets really interesting. So, for instance, if you want to just get a general trend on a weekly basis, on the most up-to-date weekly, we can then measure our ATR for last week, also for the last month, 3 months, 1 year, and 2 years of our daily ATR view. We can also do the same thing with the weekly ATR view, and for the last 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, and maybe 5 years. Same with the monthly. We can do 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, and that's it. But where it gets kind of exciting, or it should get exciting, I don't think the file's been generated yet because I'm waiting for this to finish up. It's pretty damn close. And should be complete in a little bit, but I'll pause it for now and show you that as well. But here's the real value that I want to show. At the end of all this processing, it will generate a file called ranking. It's a CSV, comma separated value. You can obviously open it in Excel. But here's all the pairs that we've processed. Okay, so there's about 54 of them, right? So now we've added in here the daily 7-day. We've added the weekly 1 quarter, and those are the 1 quarter view, 3 month, and the monthly 6 month view. So here is where it gets really powerful. If I go into sort and sort by, let's say I want to get the most volatile daily pairs, what we can do here is we can measure where the most volatile pairs are going to be over the last week. So in this case, even though it looks kind of messed up, we've got Canadian, Japanese yen, New Zealand and Japanese yen, and the Canadian and the Swiss franc. So this is where it gets really important, because knowing this kind of information, you can now deploy, and you're going to deploy, let's say you deploy $1,000 in trading for the week on forex trading. If you know that these pairs are going to be the most volatile and know how to trade them in terms of market direction, this will give you maximum return, without a doubt. And there's obviously drivers that you can look at, economic indicators and so on and so forth, to see how these, let's say, top 3 pairs will move over the next day or week So knowing these popular pairs, and again, these would come out of interactive brokers, so, similar data sources, IQ feed. But the thing is, we can do the same type of sorting for both a weekly on a 3-month view or versus a monthly on a 6-month view. So let's check out those volatility metrics for which ones are the most volatile for the weekly. So again, the Canadian Japanese yen, the New Zealand Japanese yen, and the Canadian Swiss franc over a month. Where so let me just make sure I get this captured here. So let's say the top 5. Let me just load up my Word. Okay, so that's for the 1 month view. For this right here, weekly 1 quarter, weekly 3 month. So we'll go back do this for the daily 7 days. See if we can see any patterns. And now we can obviously automate this. It's just a rough eyeball on confirming things here. So we're gonna sort on the daily 7-day view. And again, this is the order for see if we can see a pattern here between the monthly So, very interesting. Now let's try the year and see if we can see again if that order is similar. So monthly 6-month view. Okay, so it is different. So that's over 6 months. But you can see definitely a trend here where you could probably make some good money on the Canadian and Japanese yen over the last 6 months if you were to do that type of trade, and it really got volatile over the weekly and monthly view. So we also have Euro. That would have probably been a really nice trade. Plus, here, the Canadian and the Swiss franc may have been good over a week. So, there's some trends between these two. This is the weekly, monthly. This one, not so much. But if you stuck to this trade, this pair over a year, you could have done quite well. But there were probably some moments where here and here, these two pairs, had a few periods where they were very volatile too. So, again, to maximize your opportunity to generate, shall we say, alpha, or better known as profit, knowing when to get in for these type of trades for maximum opportunity and optimal alpha, knowing when to trade these, you can make a lot of money. And again, I've said this before, why would you spend or put at risk $1,000, in my case US dollars, $1,000 to trade euro and the US dollar? They're not volatile, so I'm not going to make a lot of money. But knowing I can take that same $1,000 and deploy it to more volatile pairs, I could have done better by maybe trading the Canadian and Japanese yen over a year or over a day or over a week. I could have done better and gotten maximum opportunity. So knowing these sort of things, thankfully to automated trading, that's a very powerful statement. Instead of doing it by the human way, and no human can generate what I just showed you in this Python script this fast, which could take about an hour to run, maybe, and I could speed it up quite a bit, I'm sure, through a database. But this is the benefits of automated trading. No human can do this. So if you're going to spend $10,000 on some goon who's going to show you how to do this, you will still not be able to mimic a cross-reference of all of these trading currencies that I've shown. But this will do it in this script in about 1 hour's time. Okay, now everyone's going to ask source code, source code. This source code is not going to go anywhere. Okay, and why should it? But it will be part of my Quant Analytics Pro service I'm going to have in the next few months. And this is just going to be one of many scripts and reports that I'll generate. So the question is, when it comes to uploading and submitting the content to these members, what you'll notice here, I provide a set of raw files here. Let me just go back into my market data. Go into here. So this, I personally cannot, I know I cannot provide anyone, because I'm going against my terms, because that's from IQFeed, the data source. Whereas here, this data, let's say Euro, New Zealand, okay, maybe we'll provide. What does it include? Well, this is the date, this is the open, high, low, close, and I think that's volume. So maybe that can be provided. Make sure that we are speaking the same language here. This is what I want to show. Not a good example. Let's see this one. Yeah, so I can show you the percent change movement, the ATR, the high-low, and all that. Okay, so there's that. I've shown you this PNG file, and I could also provide these documents as well, these docx's that's shown earlier for the statistics. So there's various data I could provide, but I think what's going to be most important for people is this ranking file that I just showed earlier. Where is it? Okay, this one here that I just showed earlier. Yeah, so this would be very useful for most people. So that's about it. As I said, no human really could process this fast. But being able to provide it through an analytics service would be very useful for people. So I just want to show that to everybody and just show you the power of automated trading, how fast it is, the value of it, and can save you a lot of time. And that's about it. Hopefully this will help you out. I'll talk to you later.